If you think Florida is a peaceful place to retire, think again. Some parts of Florida now look like ghost towns. Beaches once full of tourists now have tents. Mothers sleep on benches with their children. The wind blows through closed and empty shops. This is not the Florida people used to know. Homelessness is not a small problem anymore. It is growing in many cities. Restaurants are closing because no one comes to eat. Schools are empty. Shopping malls have turned into shelters. In some places, 1 out of every 5 people has no home. Some cities even turn off public lights at night to make homeless people leave. So the question is, if a rich state like Florida can't help its people, what is really happening in America? This video will show you 10 cities in Florida that are slowly turning into ghost towns. Not because of war, but because of poverty, sadness, and no help from the government. Number 1, Tampa. Tampa is a busy city with a large port. Many ships arrive here every day. The sun still shines over the sea. But if you drive a few minutes, you will see tents made of plastic sheets and boxes. On one side, you see containers worth millions of dollars. On the other side, an old man eats from a tin can beside the car where he used to live. In 2024, Tampa had about 1,600 homeless people. That's as many people as 3 cruise ships can carry. But these people don't sleep on cruise ships. They sleep on benches, inside cars, or under bridges. A man who worked as a technician said, "I never thought I would be homeless." He lost his job after the pandemic. 3 months later, he lost his apartment. Now he lives in an old car behind a gas station. Every morning, he washes his face with a bottle of water. He puts on his old work shirt and goes to look for a job. But no one calls him back. Tampa is like a fancy ship that is still moving forward. But the workers who kept it running are left behind. The city opened more shelters. But there are still not enough beds. Every empty bed means someone who once had a full life now has nothing. Have you ever asked yourself, if I lost my income for 2 months, what would I do? Number 2, Orlando. Orlando is known as a city of magic. Millions of people visit every year. They come to Disneyland to feel happy again. But just a few blocks away, things look very different. Old cars are parked by the road. Tents are set up in empty parking lots. Children fall asleep after eating at food lines. In 2025, there were 2,781 homeless people in Orlando. That's a 156% increase in just 3 years. More than 1,000 people sleep outside at night. Many of them are children and old people. That number is the same as a full movie theater. But there are no soft seats. Only cold concrete floors. These are not just numbers. These are real people. Children doing homework under streetlights. Grandparents sharing one blanket on cold nights. Some homeless people had good jobs. They were teachers, college graduates, or had steady work. One single mother lives in an old SUV with her 6-year-old daughter. She worked at a food court in a theme park for 6 years. But rent went from $950 to $1,800. She could not pay it anymore. She said, "I never thought I'd teach my child to do homework in a car. Every night, I set my alarm every 3 hours to move before the police tell us to leave." This story is not rare. Every day, someone in Orlando has to choose between food and rent. Orlando still looks beautiful from the outside. But in the shadows, many families are suffering. Have you been to Orlando before? Do you remember the happy memories? Now think just a few blocks away, some children have no beds. Number 3, Fort Lauderdale. Be careful if you visit Fort Lauderdale. If you give food or money to a homeless person, you could get a fine or be arrested. Here, being poor is not only hard. It is treated like a crime. In the last 10 years, the city lost 15.7% of its shelter beds. But more people now need help. More older people and veterans are becoming homeless. How can this happen in a rich country like the US? People who served the country now sleep on the streets. If they are not safe, who is? A year ago, the city made it illegal to give food to the homeless in public. You need a special permit. A 90-year-old man was arrested for giving bread to homeless people outside a church. Is this the kind of world we want? A world where helping people needs permission but ignoring them is easy and allowed. Other rules in the city include: no begging in public, no tents in public places, no plans to build more shelters. When federal funds ended, many help programs also stopped. There are no special programs for old people or veterans to get back on their feet. Fort Lauderdale is like a luxury hotel. It looks clean by removing people who don't look good, but those people are still human. If our society punishes those who give food, what are we really protecting? And what are we losing? Number 4, Miami. Miami is known as a city where the sun never sets. But in some parts of the city, there is no light. You can pay $5,000 to stay one night in a luxury hotel here. But just 3 blocks away, an old man sleeps on the sidewalk. He uses a broken billboard as a blanket. Miami is one of the few cities in the world that can feel like heaven and hell at the same time. Just a few steps can take you from one to the other. In 2024, Miami-Dade had about 4,235 homeless people. That is the highest number in all of Florida. It is more than what 10 big hotels can hold. But none of these people have rooms to sleep in. Miami shines bright. But that light does not reach everyone. In Miami, the sun shines on million-dollar homes. But the people who once cleaned those homes now live in the shadows. Last April, the police cleared the area around the old bus station. They said it was for health and safety. But in reality, they just removed a few carts and bags. Along with that, 27 people lost their shelter. One man said, "I don't ask for money. I don't cause trouble. I just read old newspapers and cooked using a small alcohol stove. But now, I don't even have the right to stay hidden." You may ask, where are the city leaders? Miami has a homeless trust fund and a program called Housing First. But the problem is growing too fast. For every new bed in a shelter, 3 more people lose their homes. Maybe you went to Miami to retire, or celebrate a holiday. But do you ever wonder that same place where you made happy memories is where others live with pain every day? Have you ever walked through Miami? Can you believe that just a few blocks away from the luxury, people are living in despair? If a rich city like Miami can let workers fall so low, what will happen in cities that no one even talks about? In the next city, just one letter on the door can make a whole neighborhood disappear overnight. Number 5, St. Petersburg Street. Petersburg is called the Sunshine City. It has more than 300 sunny days every year. The beaches are beautiful. Tourists love it. But behind the sunny days, many people live with no home, no beds, and they are afraid to get sick. There are about 3,000 homeless people in the county. Almost 35% of them are elderly or have health problems. Hospitals say homeless people make up more than 12% of emergency visits in St. Pete. But they are less than 1% of the population. This means out of every 10 ambulance calls at night, 1 is for a homeless person. A doctor at Bayfront Hospital said that in May, they treated 18 homeless people for heat sickness. 11 of them came back again just 1 week later. Why? Because doctors can treat the sickness, but they can't give them a roof. St. Petersburg is like a perfect travel photo. But the bright sunlight hides the dark problems. Here, the heat not only burns your skin, it also burns away people's hope. Local leaders have also made things worse. Tents are banned in many areas. There are more controls in parks and near beaches. Health experts warn this will only cause more emergency costs for the whole city. Many of us know what it feels like to get sunburn in St. Petersburg. But imagine living under that sun with no roof, no water, and no rest. Some people do. If you think this only happens in big cities, wait until you see the next one. A place so poor, it doesn't even appear in the statistics, but it is becoming a new hotspot for homelessness. Number 6, Palm Bay. You may not have heard of Palm Bay. It's not big like Miami. It's not full of tourists like Orlando. But it is one of the poorest cities in Florida. And sadly, no one pays attention to it until it's too late. There is almost no official data about homelessness in Palm Bay. There are no large shelters. No maps showing high-risk areas. No full plan to help people. That means everything here is happening quietly. And it's slowly getting worse. The average income in Palm Bay is one of the lowest in the state. Palm Bay also has many problems. The roads are damaged. There is no good public bus system. There are no permanent places where people can get help. Most people who live here are older, low-income, or migrant workers. Imagine a small town where house prices go up, but wages stay the same. Here, people don't become homeless because they're lazy. They become homeless because they got sick, had to fix their car, or their fridge broke in the middle of summer. Police say they have found small homeless camps in the forest. But they don't have enough staff or programs to help. There is no official data. That means no government budget, no support, and no warning signs. Palm Bay is like an old pillow. It looks okay on the outside. But inside, there are small tears getting worse each day. No one notices until it's too late. In Palm Bay, there isn't even a shelter for people to wait in line at. Here, poverty is quiet. But it spreads everywhere like mold in a damp house. Do you know a place like Palm Bay? A poor place that no one talks about? No statistics. No plans. If yes, please share it in the comments. If Palm Bay is where people suffer in silence, then the next city shows people suffering in bright lights where every tourist season also brings higher prices and more people losing their homes. Number 7. Naples. In Naples, some people pay over $10,000 to stay in a villa for 1 week. But if you sleep in your car, the police may wake you up at 2 a.m. and ask you to leave. This city is a retirement paradise for the rich. But the poor are not welcome to stay long. Naples is known for golf courses, luxury resorts, and marinas. But if you walk away from the tourist areas, you'll see something else: workers, older people, and even veterans sleeping in cars or forests. Even though it is one of the richest areas in Florida, Naples has no big public shelters. It has strict laws that ban begging, tents, and sleeping in cars. There is a law called the Live Local Act, SB 102. It says some commercial areas will be used for affordable housing. But that plan still hasn't happened. Last month, a group gave sandwiches and water to homeless people in a park. They were told to stop because they didn't have a health permit. A week later, 2 people were arrested for sleeping in their car. That car was the only thing they owned. In Naples, you can pay $20,000 for a hotel stay. But you cannot eat a sandwich if you're homeless. This city is like a luxury resort only for people who have money and have done everything right. What about the people who used to clean, cook, and build the community? They're being pushed out. There is no emergency plan for them. No help when they lose their homes. Homeless people are moved out of sight. They live in forests or empty parking lots. The same cities that once stood for the American dream are now ignoring their own people. If a nurse who worked for 30 years cannot find a place to live, then what happens to other retirees without savings? Have you thought about where you want to retire? Will that place welcome you or only let you stay if you can pay? Let us know in the comments. If Naples is a place where the poor are removed, then Gainesville will show you something even harder to believe. Number 8. Gainesville. Gainesville is a city of learning. It has a famous university. It trains doctors, lawyers, and engineers. But the city has rules that make life harder for the homeless. They banned tents. They banned begging. They tightly control homeless people in public areas. The main shelter used to be an old prison. It still has fences and gates like a jail. Instead of asking what the homeless need, they are watched like criminals. Near a school, there was a poster promoting love and kindness. Right below it, signs warned people not to sleep or gather there. The sign said, "Violators will be arrested." Do you see the contrast? One side talks about love. The other threatens punishment. Gainesville is like a perfect library. Everything looks clean and organized as long as you have a home. But if you lose your home, you become invisible. Like a crumpled piece of paper thrown away. We used to believe education meant fairness. But if even a smart, wealthy city cannot care for the poor, then what does that say about us? Have you been to Gainesville? Should a city of knowledge erase its most vulnerable people from view? After 9 cities from busy to quiet, rich to poor, we now arrive at the final place. Number 9, Miami-Dade. This is where the crisis is the biggest. And where we must ask the biggest question. If even the richest place cannot help the homeless, then what hope is left? We've looked at many cities. Big and small. Rich and poor. But we come back to Miami-Dade. The center of tourism. The symbol of wealth. And now the county with the most homeless people in Florida. The dream of retirement has turned into a story of broken promises. In 2024, over 31,000 people in Florida were homeless. And the number keeps going up. More than 10% are living without shelter. That means thousands of people sleep outside every night. Miami-Dade alone has over 4,200 homeless people. They include elderly people, single mothers, veterans, and children. This is not just one city's problem. It is spreading across all parts of society. Florida used to be a place to enjoy your final years. Now, that dream is falling apart. Not because of war. But because of silence. Because of looking away. From Miami to Palm Bay, from Gainesville to Fort Lauderdale, the American dream is fading. We should ask. If there is no place left that cares for the elderly and poor, then whose America is this? If Miami, a wealthy city, lets longtime workers become homeless, then who is safe? Have you dreamed of retiring in Florida? Do you still believe it's for everyone or only for those who can afford to stay? We showed you 10 cities. 10 different parts of the story. 10 wake-up calls. But the most important part may be trust in your voice. From Orlando to Miami, from Palm Bay to Gainesville, this is not just a housing problem. It is a system that's leaving people behind. This pain is not in the numbers. It's in the silence. No one knocks. No one asks. So people disappear. One by one. But there is still hope. Hope lives in a young woman sharing food with a stranger. Hope is a doctor who checks someone's blood pressure at night in a parking lot.